Why does Vaush never debate anyone who has a different opinion than him? Wrong. I argue with chat and Reddit all the time. Yeah, I do. People, I think people have genuinely forgotten. Like the vast majority of political commentary online and before the internet existed was not framed through a debate format. Like I like the idea. Why did he? I don't understand. He talks about political analysis and he covers the news, but he doesn't bring on people for debates. He doesn't even do blood sports. How is it even politics then? I understand not debating the right, but why not libs? Debate them on on what? Like what? It always comes down to like everyone wanting debates. I maybe it's because I don't like watch other people's content or whatever, but I don't see any conversations happening that look even like remotely interesting. Every time I see people argue, I'm like, holy shit, I'm so fucking glad that I'm not one of these people because this looks insufferable and exhausting and like a huge waste of time and like boring. Um, you know? You don't like Dean Withers? I don't watch Dean Withers. Also, like what? Intellectually owning fucking Trump supporters? What do you they're barely sapient. Barely sapient. And then like what are the liberals on about? I feel the what am I going to do? Convince them of like the broader Marxist, like I'm going to sit a liberal down and be like, here's how the all of the little problems that have been building up over time are caused by like the central corrosive force of capital undermining democracy. Like what are they going to say? No, you. I feel like most liberals agree with me anyway, right? I feel like the average like normie liberal would listen to, like they might not agree with the reasons I arrive at my conclusion, but when I speak about like this overriding like the feeling of doom that we've like reached the end of the line and that nothing is going to get better again, I feel a huge number of them would agree with me on that. They just wouldn't really like agree with or engage with the reasons why I say that. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of liberals are pretty like amenable to that. I think Destiny thinks that way. The one and only clip that I've seen of like internet drama was some months ago. I saw people link. I was curious. It was Hutch and Destiny talking, and Hutch was just doing some like insufferable, vote the collapse of Western civilization away bullshit. But Destiny seemed, I feel, pretty like bearish on Western civilization. Like it seemed to me like he was like, well, it does kind of seem like Republicans get to do literally whatever they want. Like Republicans get to do literally anything they want. There are no legal consequences. Nobody in the Democratic Party is strong enough to push back. Like nothing is happening and everything's getting worse. And like it seems like things are collapsing. So I like I mean, I agree with that, right? But then you get into like why it is, and it's like, no, it's not capital interests, some other shit. And it's like, oh, well, whatever, who cares? It's not like engaging with this is going to like, you know, alleviate the cause, let alone the symptoms, you know? Like some kind of general consensus on the cause here isn't going to change the path of the river. Destiny challenged you to an Israel debate just a few days ago. Okay, yeah. This is what I mean. Like it's like just incredibly uninteresting. Israel. You know, it's a demon country. It's like Russia. You know, fascist, ethno-national, whatever. It's just super boring. Like I've said, like it's in the vein of one day everyone will have always been against this. The arguments will shift more and more towards devil's advocacy, where the real argument isn't like whether or not Israel is good, because everyone will have to accept Israel as bad. Now it's going to be like, will you oppose Israel in an anti-Semitic fashion or something? You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, I'm not defending Israel, but you attacked Israel in a bad way and you did it too early. You were too right too early, or you were wrong, but in a specific way. And it's like, I don't think anyone cares about this. I don't think, you know, we're not a vanishingly small percentage of the American population is actually like Jewish Zionists with a personal stake in the narrative of ethnic supremacy. For the rest of us, this is just a proxy argument. My argument really is that it's all a proxy for capital. Like, you know, it's not as though like the world is legitimately falling on the sword over the right for Jewish people to have their own state. Like no one fucking cares about that directly. It's all about like using them as a as a proxy for capital interests, even in the abstract cultural sense, not directly. You know, it's not like Israel is or represents a substantial portion of American wealth or like global wealth or whatever. They don't. Israel's disproportionately wealthy for a Middle Eastern country, but the total amount of money circulating through Israel isn't that much. It's just that, you know, capital needs to erode democracy and wants to commit the world to a, you know, worsening set of tribal and, you know, xenophobic conditions because it's of interest to the capital class to divide and conquer, cause economic crises so that you can engage in capital consolidation, you know, regulatory capture. And to that extent, supporting Israel is like part and parcel to the outcome. You know, it could be anything. Didn't have to be Israel. It could have been any country, really. I watch you and Destiny stream every day. The difference in how you guys come to conclusions is crazy. That's an interesting thing to say. Could you elaborate on that? I'm not really personally interested in what Destiny believes for the same reason I'm not personally interested in what, like, any talking head online. I don't watch, like, political content anymore. Literally, when I'm done with politics, like, I watch Unlearning Economics and like occasionally Gary's Economics or whatever. I mean, I love Folding Ideas. There are video essayists who I like, but by and large, like political commentary, I just don't. Sometimes I catch a Majority Report segment. Like, that's pretty much it for me, I think. I am interested, I guess, in like the abstract of, because so I don't watch it directly, so I don't want to misrepresent it. Not necessarily because I care about their dignity or honor or whatever, but I just don't want to be like wrong. I have like an opinion. I want the opinion to be based on at least a vaguely correct belief. But my understanding or my feeling is that Destiny's community is very nihilistic. Like, the advocacy for good outcomes is more framed in the context of sustaining internet controversy and drama. It's more about the process of engaging with it. Like, there is no innate there's not much emotional investment in good things for the sake of good things. It's that, like, being in favor of nominally good things puts you in an adversarial position against people, and like the engagement between you and them is entertaining, right? Which, of course, like, edutainment is a huge part of what I do as well, though obviously not like in a debate context. But if you're so nihilistic about it, my thought is like, if we all agree these are the end times, what are we doing about it? You know what I mean? That's what I mean. Yeah, like, because if we don't believe in politics anymore, my assumption is that a lot of people who watch Destiny understand that there's no coming back from this. And I don't mean that in like a late stage capitalism is finally collapsing way. I mean, like, in an evident way, in a way that aligns with the expectations and analyses of liberal economists as well. Not just communists, but like, we all kind of understand this. We can read the writing on the wall. The institutions aren't just crumbling, they are fundamentally illegitimate. The Supreme Court is fundamental. I'm almost positive that Destiny would agree with this. The Supreme Court is illegitimate. Like, the rulings they are putting out, the conservative wing of it at least, are like genuinely insane. Their interpretations, the fact that it was a 5-4 decision against revoking birthright citizenship, which is like a completely unassailable argument constitutionally, for which there's no argument against it, right? So illegitimate institution. Congress is broken and can't do anything. The debt is spiraling. We can't build or invest in anything. Our national and state governments have completely lost the ability to pivot or navigate or alter their environment or implement solutions to changing circumstances. Like, you look at all these problems mounting, a communist might give you a general answer to why this is happening, you know, the material dialectic, capital, the erosion of democracy. But even a liberal has to acknowledge these things are happening, right? And I think they do. I think the average Democratic voter would look at these things and be like, you know, it's really, really bad, right? You all understand what I'm talking about, right? So I guess my curiosity then is, if we agree at least in those respects, like we agree, even if you don't agree it's the broader capital, blah, 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 but if we agree that these things are eroding in a way that seems kind of irreparable, what is the, like, what are we doing about that? And like, what, if not the communist analysis, what explains it, you know? But the problem is, I think that the moment you frame that discussion in the context of a debate, it's like you're wasting time. There's not really like a debate here, you know what I mean? Everything that I've just said about the erosion of these institutions, as far as I'm concerned, it should just be like oh yeah, of course that's happening. Call it a kind of intellectual in curiosity on my part, I suppose, but like it seems to me I feel like I am satisfied with my belief that a bunch of these institutions are failing. What I want to know more about is like, to what extent can we mobilize people to understand the reasons why it's happening? But in order to have the conversation, we need to know why it's happening, and then like you debate about it. And what do we debate about? You were right about Israel too early. It actually, like, AIPAC's bad. Is AIPAC bad or not? Like, it's asinine. Destiny dissected your comments about some governor vetoing a data center bill and saw the reasons why and said you don't read about things before commenting about stuff. You mean Mills in Maine, when the reason she vetoed it was because it didn't have an exception carved out for it for a specific data center that was being built into a paper mill? Didn't I look at that extensively? Whatever, it doesn't matter. These are asinine. This is what I mean about, like, it's more about the performance of antagonistic engagement than any kind of solution. It really doesn't matter now. Well, yeah, like it's unfortunate because, like, I do believe in learning about things. I like learning about things, but it does kind of put everything else into a harsh light. There's like a stark contrast when the forces that are at work right now are so bad that almost everything else is kind of immaterial. Like, I am now at the point where I don't think Congress will be able to act in time to do anything about the multiple, like, fundamental systemic failures that are encroaching, or that are approaching us, that are encroaching on us. Like, I think Congress isn't even going to be part of the solution. Congress doesn't do anything but reaffirm different versions of the same budget bill they've been passing since, like, the 70s. That's it. Congress is dead. It's a defunct institution. All the Supreme Court does is, like, I don't know, constitutionally legitimize rape every other day. What do we, like, these, so, as far as I'm concerned, like, we've run out of time on a lot of these potential solutions. I don't know. This exact video clip about Mills responding to @Vaush? No, I don't think so. I know why I lost weight. It's so I look better in the drama thumbnails. It's a better look than 4 years ago, that's for sure. 37 minutes. We're just wait, that's the title? And people say my videos are vague. Well, there's hypothetically a Congress that could issue the. I think that if you, like, could snap your fingers or snap your, and make every single congressperson like a DSA candidate, at this point it would still be too late. He still wants your attention. He doesn't want my attention. It's just that I'm I'm at the intersection of having different viewpoints, but also being like agreeable enough, or like attached to reality enough that you can engage with my position in a more nuanced way than, like, engaging with, I don't know, Hassan being campused or whatever. And also I'm funny, so I'm fun to cover, right? You get like a good up and down mix of, oh, that was funny, and also, like, oh my God, he's like a doomer anti-Semite communist or something. I don't think it has nothing to do with a personal desire to solicit my attention, in my opinion. He wants to debate you? Yeah, I'm funny. It'd be funny. I wouldn't, again, like, I just, yeah, my questions don't get answered. I mean, he should watch a bit of it so people can't say he doesn't respond to criticism. You can say I don't respond to criticism. It's fine. I've never said that people have a moral obligation to respond to every video takedown on YouTube. That would be quite a backlog for me. You can just say I don't respond to criticism. That's fine. It's not an allegation I'm attempting to beat. Destiny wants extreme solutions about MAGA, but supports politicians that won't do the extreme solutions he claims to want. Yeah, I don't really know what you do about that. You actually do have that responsibility? You abdicating? Hold on, let me check your logs. Thoughts on the tiny percentage of Republicans who voted for Harris, allies or not? Sincerely, one of them. Because of your back pain, sorry, Unk Man. Have you ever debated an anti-Trump conservative? Ever debated an anti-Trump? Dog, you're like 14. Vaush was unable to answer this chatter's criticisms. That's fucking true. That's fucking true. Destiny will say to put all of MAGA into camps, then vote for Gavin Newsom in 2028. I mean, past a point, I'm just, like, strawmanning him through chat. I don't know what his positions are, really. That's probably not, like, that far off, I guess. Keep in mind that I don't think that progressive candidates are going to be able to implement the solutions that I want either. I think we're past that point. For me, it's more about building broader awareness of the issues so that people are ready when things really hit the fan. I used to want to see you debate, but I completely get your point now. Debating with conservatives is just depressing for everyone. Look, the thing that bothers me is that there's a bit of a like rhetorical conflation going on with debate. Debate is and always has been a particular affect, an expression, a medium, a mode of entertainment for engaging with ideas that could be engaged with in other ways. An enjoyment of debate is a form of entertainment. You enjoy a form of entertainment. It's not like a way of learning things that you can't learn otherwise. The thing that bothers me is if people find the debates entertaining, that's one thing, but there are people who act like you have an intellectual obligation to engage with them, which is fucking retarded. Anyone with even the most superficial understanding of how online debate culture works is aware of the fact that it's just a shit show, and that there's no serious intellectual rigor there, you know? Like, the most high-profile example of this would be Zizek is an intellectual, smart guy. He's contributed a lot to discourse, right? But Zizek versus Jordan Peterson was retarded. Zizek didn't even have the ability to express higher-level ideas because Jordan Peterson was so stupid he came in there and unironically argued that the Communist Manifesto said that poor people are morally good and rich people are morally bad, and that's Marxism. Like, the Jordan Peterson was so unprepared and so stupid that, like, Zizek was boring to listen to in that debate. How could he not be? The entertaining part of Zizek is when he gets to say what he wants to say. Forcing him to share a room with Jordan Peterson just forces him to say stuff in response to Jordan Peterson, which is boring.